Mr. President, Keir Simmons from NBC News. Mr. President, satellite images are said to show North Korean troops here in Russia. What are they doing here? And wouldn't that be a massive escalation in the Ukraine war? And Mr. President, we are weeks away from the US election. Russia again is accused of interfering, and that you had private conversations with former President Trump. Have you been speaking with him, and what have you been saying?
Well, let me take up first the first part of your question. Satellite images, well, that is something serious. If there are images, then they are a reflection of something. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that it's not the Russia's actions that have led to an escalation in Ukraine. Rather, it is the coup d'etat in 2014, which was supported first and foremost by the US. The US has even publicly announced how much money it has spent back then to organize and orchestrate this coup d'etat. Wasn't that the path to escalation? And then for 8 years, we were being duped when we were being told that everyone wants to achieve a peaceful settlement to the conflict in Ukraine via Minsk agreements. You have probably heard afterwards a number of European leaders have said publicly that they had been duping us because they had been using that time to rearm the Ukrainian troops. Isn't that a fact? It is. Another path towards escalation consisted in the fact that the European countries started to actively provide weaponry to Ukraine, to the Ukrainian regime, and it went as far as direct participation of NATO troops in this conflict, because we are aware of how and what is being done when UAV unmanned vessels in the Black Sea are being operated and sent. We know who is present there, what NATO countries are involved, and how they are doing that. And the same goes for instructors. And these are not mercenaries, these are military instructors. And the same goes for the use of precision-guided missiles such as Storm Shadow, ATACMS, and other things like that. Ukrainian troops are incapable of doing that without Western intelligence, without sharing the goals. And it is only possible through the direct involvement of NATO officers. Now, as for our relationship with the North Korea, you know, we ratified our Treaty on Strategic Partnership, which contains Article 4, and we have never doubted the fact that North Korean leadership is very serious about their commitments to us and engagement with that. But as for how we do and what we do, it's up to us to decide under Article 4 of this treaty. First, we need to hold the relevant talks about implementing Article 4 of the Treaty on Strategic Partnership with North Korea. We're in contact with our friends from North Korea. We'll see how this process develops. That said, the Russian armed troops are moving forward very steadily. No one can contradict that. It's moving forth at all the parts of the line of contact. Our troops are very active in the Kursk direction part. Some of the Ukrainian units that have mounted an incursion into the Kursk region have been blocked and encircled. This group totals around 2,000 people. There are attempts at deblocking that from outside. There are also attempts at a breakthrough from the inside. Right now, the Russian troops are proceeding to eliminate this group of forces that has been encircled. Now, as for my contacts with Mr. Trump, well, this is a thing that has been discussed through rumors for many years now, Moldova, because first there were accusations that there had been some alleged ties between Trump and Russia, but then there was an internal inquiry in the U.S., probably in U.S. Congress, if I'm not mistaken, and the conclusion they had arrived at is that it was all nonsense. Nothing like that had ever taken place, nor is anything like this is taking place right now. Now, as for how the Russian-U.S. relations are going to be constructed after the election, it is first and foremost up to the U.S. If the U.S. is open towards building a normal, healthy relations with Russia, then we will do the same. If you don't want that, it's up to them. But it's going to be the choice of the future administration.